Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening. Welcome to Personal Financial Management, which we are planning to do based on faith framework. Welcoming everyone, and today that I'm going to talk about is based on a faith framework that, as I mentioned to you, which stands for financial planning. So, first few minutes we'll be spending to understand when we are trying to build our wealth, when we are trying to build our financials in the planning stage, it is all about building our right mindset and building the purpose of why we need financial planning in our lives. Secondly, we will be talking about avoid the forbidden. There are lines of items, lines of businesses and the industries and the elements which has been clearly prohibited that we are not supposed to be working on processing them, associating with them, and all of that. So, we are going to touch these two as a reminder because most of us, we all know all of this or most of them. So, we are just trying to get ourselves aligned towards our mindset, understanding, and then the purposes, and also trying to recall and understand what are the things that we are supposed to be away from. Thirdly, we will be talking about invest Islamically. This is where we'll be mostly spending time when you save some money, when you are looking at investing, what are the areas that we are supposed to look into and how we will be able to work on Islamic principles. So that will be enabling us and giving us platforms and ideas where we could invest. How do we invest? What are the areas that we are supposed to look into? This is, I would say, in a nutshell, given the time that we will be able to touch on a few areas on that. And then, as a fourth element, we will be looking at tame your debt, that is bringing under control of your debt, managing the debt, whether you really need it, if it is necessary, how do you obtain, how do you apply, how do you go into the financing facilities, what are the areas that needs to be considered. And then finally we will be talking about how do you leave a legacy in terms of financials for the hereafter. So this is the faith framework that we are going to talk about it in today's this like 45 to 50 minutes of our session. Of course, followed by that, we will be able to, given the time, that we will be able to look into the Q&A as well. So to start off, financial planning, as we all know, as a good reminder, I would like to mention saying our risks have been promised and guaranteed by our Creator. We don't need to have a slight doubt even about it. As the birds are getting out of the nest early morning, going empty stomach, and returning to the nest with full stomach, even for the bird and every creature from the Quran and Hadith, we are very clearly told that our risk is promised and guaranteed. So always believe your creator has never created you without a purpose, without a promise for your risk. So believe in that is the creation of your mindset, clearing your mindset without having any doubt that you are believing that your earnings, your fulfillment of your needs are there for you. That is, we are referring mainly the basic food, shelter, clothing, whatever required, whatever the basics Allah has created. Allah has, when He has created you and the other creation, He has created the sustenance of that as well. So that is one of the good reminder for us to get our mindsets clear towards creating our financial goals. Secondly, I would also like to remind uh, it is not just that we believe it is there. We have been also highly encouraged to go out and seek the bounty of Allah. In another word, we can say we have been asked to take an effort soon after Salah, which has been, one of the pillar that we are supposed to be always fulfilling as an obligation. But at the same time, soon after the obligations, we have been asked to go out, seek, go out to the world and earn, take effort towards earning, build your wealth. which we have been highly encouraged. Again, this is a reminder for us to create our mindset. And another important reminder today that I have brought in here for you as a good reminder, all of these we hear again and again from different sermons, from Jummah, bayans to the radios and everywhere. We have been frequently talking about it. This is one of the reflective questions, I would say, on a daily basis that you can think about it, ask about it from yourself. Number one, how am I going to live my life? How am I going to spend my youth period? Of course, youth period is never defined by the age. It is whenever your blood is young, your blood is young and boiling. You want to do something. You are passionate about it. That is what we are talking about. The period of youth. So your life, which encompasses youth as well, but of course you are going to be asked about it. At the same time, you will also be asked about how do you earn money and also how do you spend money. So these two, that is how do you earn money and how do you spend money, is completely related to financials. Completely related to financial. Number five is about the knowledge. Is about the knowledge. So there are five questions that you will be asked, out of which two questions are related to money. And without answering this, we will not be able to take our step forward in the hereafter. This is one of the hadiths which we frequently hear. Now, coming back to the importance of handling the finance, personal finance, of course, when we are looking at as an individual, as an institution, or the companies and the corporates, as well as the government, these are different institutional setup that we have in society. So, as an individual, we have been said that we will be asked about it. So, how carefully we have been thinking of halal slaughtered chicken to consume. We are really worried about the food. We are really worried about our salah. How much we are worried about and how much we are taking care of. How do we earn? My earnings are halal. How do I spend? These spendings are acceptable in the eyes of Sharia. That is what we are as a reminder. We should be always be accountable and responsible when it comes to financial matters. I will link this hadith again when it comes to the end of it. When we are building a hereafter legacy, when we are building a financial hereafter legacy, it's all about how do I earn and how do I spend money. Clear? So, given this preparation of Quran and Hadith and teachings of Islam, it is very clear finance or personal financial planning is not a subject that it can be easily neglected or not taken care of. You are supposed to be on it, and shifting our mindset and thinking from the material wealth earning, that is having my first house to second house and holiday home, or having my basic need of like maybe using my public transport to having a motorbike to a car, and then having multiple cars and driving the latest Porsche car, or having the Ferrari, Lamborghini. So these are things that we have to be really careful when we are earning them, when we are trying to obtain them, when we are trying to use them. So shifting our mindset, given all these, how we are going to be shifting our mindset, the mindset needs to be shifted towards purposeful, purpose driven, faith based, and also leaving a hereafter legacy. So I'm going to give you few of the affirmations just for you to think about when you are trying to build your Islamic financial mindset. These are few of the things that you have to be really thinking of. Number one, I believe my wealth belongs to the Creator and I am just merely a trustee of it. So, whatever I have, all my possessions that I have, the bungalow that I have, the penthouse that I have, the multiple cars that I have, all these are given to me and I am the trustee of it. Similarly, I must believe and I must create my mindset that my wealth is a test. It's a trial, it's a test, it's a challenge. How do I handle that? I will be held accountable in the hereafter as how did I handle it. And the third one is I need to be content enough, be happy enough, be content enough with what Allah has given me, trusting His infinite wisdom. Allah has very clearly promised us, saying that we have created people with differences. in terms of color, in terms of many things, isn't it? So we believe also what Allah has given me is something that Allah has decreed on me. It doesn't mean, it doesn't stop you earning and taking effort from there. It is just that, it's the mindset that we create in ourselves to be content. And then I adopt an abundance mindset, feeling the blessed and not deprived. We have to say thankfully that we are living in a very peaceful, beautiful island. Many people are not the same, isn't it? So similarly, we have the avenues and the means are open in Sri Lanka that you can go and do multiple jobs. Most of the countries restrict you. If you go as a medical doctor, you have to be a medical doctor. If you are a software engineer chopped on your visa, you have to be a software engineer. But in Sri Lanka, I can be an accountant, I can drive Uber in the evening. I might be a consultant, I can do some lecturing. So I can be a scholar, I can do advisory. So Sri Lanka is one of the beautiful country which has created and given you the platform. So we should be feeling the blessed nature that we are living in. So we should be always creating our abundance mindset and being thankful for the creator for this. And another mindset that you can have is I strive to manage my finances with a purpose, with a gratitude and responsibility, because we will be held accountable. These are some of the mindset that we should be creating based on the Islamic principles that we are surrounded by, that we have been prescribed on. Having said that, why managing personal finance is important if you see from the world point of view. 20% of the people that they are not sleeping in the world, if you take 20% of the people are having or not having proper sleep because of financial matters. Similarly, around 30% of the people reason they have given as why they get divorced, why they get heated arguments among the couples, and all of that is mainly because of the financial related matters. Around 30% of the divorces mainly because of that. Similarly, 90%, it has been, studies have been revealing, the people those who are having depression, the people those who are having depression is all about mental health, is mainly 90% of them they have reported saying that we had a bad financial experience, we had a, or maybe a financial challenge, difficulties, bankruptcy, different things. So if you see, the numbers are staggering to see that finance is even influencing your sleep, your marriage, and also your mental health. So managing personal finance is something very much crucial that we should be taking care of. So when we are thinking of managing financials, it's all about, having the right knowledge and awareness, and, in short, that we can talk about the literacy. In Sri Lanka, according to the world statistics, it's about one third. That is, every one person in three is having the financial literacy. That is, to just to let you know what is financial literacy is all about. Do you know what is bank? Do you know what is current account? Do you know how to open a savings account? These are the basic understanding of a transactions, of a financial transaction. Now, in Sri Lanka, there was a statistic from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka in 2014. They did a financial literacy research and they found out it's only 35%, which means out of 100%, out of 100 people, only 35 people knew what it was. By 2021, soon after the corona period, they did, with the financial crisis that it was hitting in Sri Lanka, with during that period when they did, the rate has gone up to 58%. Although the rate has gone up from 35 to 58% in terms of the financial literacy, of course, there is also a difference among the men and women. In Sri Lanka, men is having more financial literacy than women, according to the central bank report. On the other end, the report is also suggesting, saying, although the financial literacy rate have increased, financial habits have not improved. Financial habits have not improved. So this is something that we are working towards. So financial inculcating good financial habits is something very crucial. Is something very crucial that we will be touching on today as well. So developing the right mindset, having the right financial knowledge. Why you need financial knowledge? Because we are chasing every stage of our lives, we are chasing different financial goals. As a fresher, I'm chasing a financial goal to do my degree, finish it off, or maybe doing my master's, getting my first paycheck. or maybe now I am building it up, I want to get married. The more sooner I get married, I need a house, or maybe I want to have a home, and then only I will get married. Maybe then I am thinking of my maybe a side hustle or business or acquiring gadgetics, to many things that we can talk about. Every one of us is chasing a financial goal. So for you to establish the right financial goals, and you need to have the knowledge. So when we are talking about establishing goals, always look at not only for this life, also you look at the financial goals that you can establish for getting into Jannah, getting into the paradise, looking at the hereafter legacy. This is what we have to get into. That is, a person who believes in the hereafter, we should be planning out and having the financial goals is not to bring 20% profitability increasing, having the margin which needs to be improved from this percentage to that percentage. It is of course very much important. As much as it is important, we also should be working on our financial guarantee. Our finance is working on towards earning my hereafter as well. So this is just a template I thought of sharing it with you. You can think of maybe a short term, which can be number of months, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months. That is short term, your goal that you are supposed to chase and get it. And midterm is where you can talk about maybe 1 year to 3 years or 5 years. The long term that you are talking about, 7 to 10 years, what are the goals that you have? This could be inclusive of your umrah, your hajj. These are things that will be earning for your hereafter as well. Of course, there needs to be financial goals in building your wealth and having your financial, my first million, or maybe my first billion, trillion, or zillion, that you can name it. So all these are becoming financial goals that you can create. I would like to point out why you should be working on a purpose-driven financial goal. Is in 1923, the top eight people, the top eight rich people, they came together and they were discussing in America. At that time, the America's wealth combined together is lesser when we combine all the eight people's wealth together. I'm talking about in 1923. They have been discussing, in the world there are problems. How can we solve the important problems, financial issues the world is facing? This was the discussion they have been having. And then after 25 years, when we checked on them, how they have lived their life, at the end of their life, some of them were bankrupted, some of them were jailed, some of them have become mentally ill, two of them they have suicided as well. When you don't have a purpose, when you don't build your financial plan based on a hereafter legacy, the moment you become successful, the moment you become flooded with earnings of money, you might be wondering, you might be going crazy as how do I manage this money, how do I put this money to work that I'll be earning for the hereafter. So I'm concluding the first session of it. That is, building the right mindset is important. As much as the right mindset is important, you should be establishing a financial goal. For that, you have to be financially literate. When we talk about financial literate, as we all know the story of Umar Ali Lawan, where he said, if you don't know the market practice, go back and learn and come back to the market. Likewise, we have enough of historical evidences to talk about the importance of knowledge, importance of the market customs and practices and the norms. We should know before we enter into the market. Then when you develop all of this needs to be driven by a purpose. That purpose needs to be linked to your hereafter as well. So this is an element that we have to get it right. Now moving on to the second part of it is avoiding the forbidden. When we talk about avoid the forbidden, I would like to raise up few things for you to think about. Now when we delay the payment of utility bills in Sri Lanka, it is attached with a interest payment as well. Sometimes we don't bother much, we don't think about it much, isn't it? Today I'm supposed to pay, it has been delayed for a couple of days. Actually, we have been charged interest on that. It has been a very clear clause that you have it in on your utility bills, not only in Sri Lanka, in most of the countries as well. Same goes with your credit card. First of all, there are different opinions about it. Of course, interest based credit cards, whether we can have it, not to have it, and things like that, which I would say leave the argument of Islamic credit card versus normal credit card, as well as I can say using a credit card, how long it takes for a person to repay. You have enough of YouTube documentaries which you can go and watch. The modern scholars describe this as the modern slavery, that is the credit card that we are talking about. Likewise, the buy now pay later schemes, are we obtaining those services? How much it is sharia compliant, and is it okay to go ahead and go, like doing purchases on this? And likewise, cryptocurrencies, I will talk about the crypto in a little while. Online games, sometimes we play the online games, myself and my friend, but some part of the world, some people are watching both of us and betting on us. Without knowing, we have been involved in a gambling game. Those days it was all about, running the horse, and people have been watching. Now people are asking to make steps and watching and betting on you. So these are some of the things that you can do homework to see, and all of that. Sometimes we go on sign contracts, whether it's a smart contract or the normal paper contracts or the blockchain services that we obtain. These are areas, modern areas. When we are doing it, you have to be really careful in what we are getting into. There are seven industries that has been completely prohibited, that as we all know, that is, for example, like conventional banking, conventional insurance, anything that is involved with interest. Similarly, the pornography, adult entertainment, and all of that is have been completely prohibited, as much as anything that is going to be harming your body, such as the drugs and all of these has been prohibited. Anything is, like arm productions, these have been so these are prohibited industries that we are not going to get involved in. Just to, since the time is restricted, I would like to take few examples from the interest. As we all know, interest is a complete prohibition from Quran. By four revelations it has been, like coming down through the Quran. Most of the Quran ayah which talks about something known as riba al nasiya, which is to deal with money on money. And more than 40 hadiths are there which is directly talking about interest. Most of the hadiths which talking about riba al fadl, there are about six commodities which is known as the ribawi commodities. When we are dealing with that, how to deal with that if there is a slight variation that directly leads into interest. So there are two types of interest that has been very clearly mentioned, that is riba al fadl and riba al nasiya. Now, having said that, not only Islam prohibits interest, almost all major religions in the world is prohibits the interest, including the Christianity, Judaism, and all of them. Now, leave all of them aside. As we all know, Albert Einstein said interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Albert Einstein mentioned interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Likewise, 1927, the president of Bank of England, Sir Josiah Stamp, he said, if you want to be the slave, ensure that you go and borrow money on interest. Likewise, the third president of America, he mentioned hydra-headed monster eating a human flesh. How quickly it will be eating up, that quicker interest will be eating up the business profits. Likewise, the seventh president of America, he mentioned saying, he mentioned saying, if if we don't want to if you don't want to have the revolution, the problematic protests in the world, then you should be taking off the enslavery of the interest. I am looking at the banking establishment. I am looking at the conventional interest based financial institutions. As much as the dangerous someone is in front of me with a gun, how much fear that I get, that much I fear I get when I'm looking at interest. Likewise, another example I'll tell and I'll move on. During the financial crisis when we had 2007 to 2000, early 2019, former Pope, he did an interview in the Vatican official newspaper saying that if you don't want to experience another financial crisis in the world, look at the Islamic finance principles and adopt the Islamic finance principles in the financial markets. So it is, I'm just talking about only interest, giving the references for you to go back and search and check it up. How harmful is the interest? That is where the alternative for interest, which has been coming into the market. So we know very clear instructions have been given with regard to what is prohibited. Other than the prohibition list, what we have, everything else is permitted for us to earn money. Everything else is permitted for us to earn money. So having said that, whenever you are involved in any of the economic activities, always ensure it is something economically value addition. You are creating some value, and it is related to sustainability, it is related to something that is earning, which is linked to your hereafter legacy as well. So having said that, there are values that we are supposed to adhere as well, which we all know about it, which we have been hearing a lot on this as well. Clear? So moving on, that is avoiding the forbidden. Now, coming to the third element or third aspect of it, that is Islam, invest Islamically. Now, one of the problem that we all face is trying to depend on single source of income. Given the modern world, we shouldn't be depend on single source of income. 2008, when we had the financial crisis, the very one of the largest, I'll tell the name, IBM, you can check it up. More than 2,500 employees were asked to go home over an email. So nowadays, the job security is not available for you like those days when we had the industrial revolution and afterwards. But now, the modern business world, we don't have job security as such, and there are many avenues that we do have. So I have just listed down a few of them, which of course I will ask Ummat to share the slides with you as well, so that you can go back and refer it. So whether you have a vehicle, whether you have a property, whether you have a digital means, anything. Those days we have been taking professional camera photographs and keeping it with us as a memory. But now no more, we keep it as a memory. We can sell them for dollars, isn't it? So these are ways that you can earn side hustles, gig economy that we are talking about. As long as you are not crossing the border, you are not getting into the forbidden items that we have been discussing a few of them. So as long as you don't cross them, perfectly all right. Don't ever depend on single source of income. Earn and have multiple source of income. Now, when we are talking about multiple source of income, when we are earning more money, of course we have been told always, we have our expenses, we have our income minus all our expenses, left what we have in our hand is known as a savings. That is good for academics. In practical life, that is not okay. Why? Our income is always a limited number, our expenses always rising, going up, and always higher, which means always we end up in a negative figure. Changing the mindset, thinking little differently, you have your income, which is fixed, of course, you can't change, and have a percentage, have a number in mind as an allocation for savings first. Say, for example, I am earning 100 rupees. I am thinking that I can squeeze myself and make 5 rupees as a saving. So you will have your income minus your savings. What is left over? What is left over? 95 rupees. So that 95 rupees is available for me as an expense to do my expenses. So change your thinking if you really want to save some money. So I'll repeat again because this is something important for you. I have my income. I will allocate an amount, 5%, 10%, whatever you want, or an amount. I would also recommend you make it automated. You put a standing order if you are a working person for on your salary date. If you are a person who is doing a business, maybe every on a particular day or whatever, you put a every 15th I will have a standing order going, taking this particular amount and leaving it with another bank or another institution where you don't need to have ATM card, don't obtain online banking services, nothing as such. You are saving a money, it is not for emergency. Clear? So that is called saving. So change your thinking pattern there. So when you save and you have a little bit of savings which has been accumulated for some time, now pool of savings that is known as investments. So it is a little bit of a larger sum. Now when you have pool of investments that is defined academically as funds. So there are three terminologies that I'm talking about, which you can start off with savings. Savings, that is your income, which you are taking separately before your expenses, that is known as your savings, which you are accumulating over time. And then you have investments, that is pool of investments which you have been accumulating for some time. And then you have funds, which is known as the pool of your investments. There you have become you are able to invest in a very big way. Clear? You are a multimillionaire, you are a billionaire. Now you have more funds that you are able to invest on. If you ask, do we have instruments for all of this? Yes. So I'm not going to go in detail of these instruments. Time does not permit us, isn't it? So there are instruments. There are instruments that are Sharia compliant, that are avoiding all the forbidden things that I have been talking about. There are term investments. There are shares in Colombo Stock Exchange. There are 300 companies that are listed. Out of the 300 companies, more than 100 companies are whitelisted. That is Sharia wise. That is acceptable. You can go and do purchase. For example, like we are buying a chocolate for 10 rupees versus buying a share, whitelisted share for 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees is the choice that you have to make. Is the choice that you have to make. I am buying a chocolate and having and eating a chocolate. Of course, you don't find a chocolate for 10 rupees nowadays. You can buy a toffee or two toffees, right? So you buy and consume, or do you want to go and purchase a share, of course, which will be, you can sell it later on for a higher price. Clear? So when you're obtaining a share, of course, you have to go for a whitelisted share as well. There are instruments. If you want to invest Islamically, there are instruments. The institutions are also available in Sri Lanka. So where you are supposed to go and save your money, where are you supposed to go and invest your money? First of all, you have to get something right. That is, whatever central bank of Sri Lanka, which is the supreme body, which is the authorizing body, which is the license given body, where they will be monitoring the banks, special banks, licensed commercial banks, special banks, and also non-banking financial institutions, including the finance companies, insurance companies, and all of them. Of course, there are also Securities and Exchange Commission that will be monitoring the stock market, and also we have the Insurance Commission where they will be looking into the insurance market as well. So there are authorized organizations. The list I have given you some of them. Of course, you can go to the official website of the central bank to get the full list of it. So always ensure and ask the question, is this financial institution or the bank is approved and licensed by the central bank? As we can see, we have very much bad experience again and again and again in all parts of Sri Lanka, where people have gone and invested money where that has been not regulated by the regulators. So always ensure and save and invest your money with a in a very secured manner, because it is your hard earned money. Now if you ask me the question, do we have those options in Sri Lanka? Of course we do have options that I'm just showcasing some of the institutions for you. There are banks. There is one fully fledged Islamic bank. There are banks of the conventional banks of the Islamic windows available. Similarly, the investment companies, finance companies, the stock market related capital market companies, likewise the Takaful organizations we have, likewise the education players we have. As Ummat, this is a Sharia advisory firm that we have. Similarly, the AFI, which is the association that has been created in Sri Lanka also for alternative finance, bypassing and not involving with interest and all of that. So this is the industry that you can associate with for the purpose of investment in whatever the nature that you wanted to do. So is it available and how do you do? Is it accessible? All of them are available in Sri Lanka, and when it comes to Sharia compliance of it, on top of the central bank, you can also ask the question of, is this particular organization governed by the Sharia body, governed by the Sharia council? Of course, then only you will know it is regulated. Also, it is governed by Sharia. So these two questions will be prompting you to ensure that the investments that you do is halal, it is permitted, it is not involved with the prohibited items. Another two important points that I wanted to make. Nowadays, we all see our people are getting involved with scams, isn't it? Scams and financial frauds and all of that in different terminologies, in different ways, in different channels that we are getting. I'm receiving a text message saying that my parcel is waiting for me in the post office. I click the link, my data is gone, and everything is gone. And somebody is calling all of a sudden and asking, there is a number, can you tell that number to us? You have won a lottery. And that is my OTP number of my own bank account. And the moment you tell that, the money will be vanished. So don't involve Don't be a victim of these nature. Central bank has been always advertising on this. Don't be a person who is promoting it, assisting it, being a victim with or without your knowledge of it. These are, of course, you can obtain all of these. Are the list is available. Some of the companies have been very clearly listed by the central bank. These are known as pyramid schemes, and it is a punishable offense if you are involved with. And central bank is also through the act. It's mentioned there are four types of financial schemes which is available in Sri Lanka, which is completely prohibited. One of them is Ponzi scheme. Second one is pyramid scheme. Third one is high yield investment program, and the fourth one is crypto scheme. I'll repeat again, crypto scheme. Now again, whether is it Sharia compliant or not is a different question. In some of the places, some of the countries such as in Malaysia and few of the other places where the Sharia scholars also have given indications of it can be permitted. Even some of the central banks have allowed. In USA, it is cryptocurrencies permitted. In Dubai, in Malaysia, Singapore, there are few countries where cryptocurrency is also considered to be a currency. But according to the rules and regulations of Sri Lanka, central bank says it is a prohibited scheme. So it is a prohibited scheme. So you can get this. I have very clearly indicated the where you can obtain this information as well. So these four areas, these again are in terms of prohibitions that you are not supposed to get involved with. Now the fourth and the fifth important one that I'm going to talk about, that is the fourth one, tame your debt. Tame your debt, that is keeping under control your debt. Keeping under your control debt. Number one thing that you have to remember is debt, borrowing money or borrowing something, but in the names of whatever the financial needs that you have, you are becoming a debtor. You are becoming a debtor is can be the last option. Can be the last option. I don't have any other means. I have a little bit of saving. I want to buy a vehicle. I need a financial requirement from a bank or a financial institution. That can be your option, which you can obtain at the end. But before that, there are two, three things that you have to get it right. Number one, inculcate good financial habits and behavior. Why we have to go and obtain a debt? Because we don't have savings. Why we don't have savings? Because we have been always going and buying things on impulse buying, which is draining our savings. Likewise, sometimes we have a lavish lifestyle, living beyond our means. Sometimes we don't have a plan to buy things. All of a sudden we go and buy things. We see an advertisement today only, this offer, we think only actually today only, but to see the same ad is repeating in a couple of months time as well. And then ignoring the savings and investments, and then being lack of, having the lack of financial literacy. So these are some of the things which you get things right in order and get your financial habits in order, so that you will be able to work towards your financial plan to buy your vehicle, buy your things, buy whatever you want. You can work towards it. I'm not saying you might be able to fulfill it. Of course, sometime you will have to go for the financial facilities as well. And having a budget is again something important. There are enough of principles that are available. As we all know, eat and drink, don't waste. Eat and drink, don't waste. Don't be an extravagant. So these are the budget plans that we have. Of course, in practical life, there are many principles that we do have. We do have. These are some of them that I'll be sharing it with you. You can go ahead. I will take one of that. That is the 30-day wait rule. Say, for example, you can impose on yourself anything that I feel an intent that I wanted to buy. iPhone 17, I want to give the pre-order. I'm not talking about 16, I'm talking about 17. I want to do the pre-order. Pre-order is open now. I can post myself. Let me wait. I'm not going to make the decision of buying and giving the pre-order now. Let me wait for 30 days. After 30 days, ask the question, is it a real need that I'm supposed to go for it or not? Sometime at that point of time, you will say, I don't need it. Why? Already they have announced iPhone 18, which is superb. Clear? So have a plan, have a budget. There are budget principles, there are budget, like budget related principles that are available, which you can follow, which is working for you. There is no right or wrong. Of course, as long as it is not a forbidden thing, of course, you can follow it, right? You can, these are some of them that I wanted to share with you. And of course, again, when you wanted to really go for a financing facility, always go with an Islamic bank, because there are differences. When you deal with an Islamic bank, you are not signing a contract which is based on loan. You are building up a relationship that is not based on something based on a loan contract. There is no involvement of interest. So those who are interested about knowing the differences, of course you can just go to YouTube and search for it, and you will have video clips which you can watch in detail. Of course, if time permits, or maybe in another session we will be able to go a little detail to see as what are the differences, how it works. Just for your understanding, I have mentioned here Islamic banks are different from conventional banking in contract, in building the relationship with you, in making money for you, or the bank how they make money. These ways, earning of income, relationship, and the contracts are different from an Islamic bank to conventional bank. So go with an Islamic bank or a financial institution, Islamic financial institution. Now, any of your need, whether it's for a business, whether it's for a retail, maybe individuals as I want to buy a home, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, or maybe as a business, I want to go for a working capital financing, import, export, or maybe I want to raise some money, and whether involvement of a anything, either locally or globally, these things are available for you. The concepts are there, Islamic principles are there, the products are there, and of course if you want anything further clarification, idea as how that can be done, how this can be done, of course you can reach out to us as well. Clear? So another important thing, so having said that, that is keep the borrowing of financial needs and fulfilling through a borrowing, keep it as a last option. If you really wanted to go for it, go with an Islamic bank. That will be subject to CRIB, credit bureau score, the credit score. Every 18-year-old in Sri Lanka is given with 900 points. How do you deal with it? The points will be varied. So one of the critical point when you are trying to obtain a debt, obtain a loan or a facility from a financial institution, they will be looking at the credit bureau report, which is in short, it is known as the CRIB report. So if your points are good, if your score are good, if score is good, the banks will be behind you. So when you are trying to, or if you are trying to avoid the debt, I would also recommend you trying to build these particular three funds. So before you go for a debt, ensure your buckets are filled. Number one is emergency fund. That is, whatever your monthly earning, for example, multiplied by three. I am earning 100 rupees multiplied by 3. So I must have 300 rupees at any given point of time. That is known as my emergency fund. And once it is done, I can move to the next bucket that is known as security fund, which means emergency funds, of course, will be useful for any emergency, maybe some utility bills payments or medical emergency or something like that. Security fund is where when my earnings are stopped, meaning I don't have a job, I have lost a job, my business have been busted, I'm trying to come up. So your monthly income multiplied by 6 times or 9 times, which means for the next 6 months or for the next 9 months, I don't need to work and earn money. I have enough money. That is your security fund. Now the last one is freedom fund. That is something beyond that, which means now I don't need to work to earn money. Rather, money is earning money for me in multiple ways, in a halal way, in a Sharia compliant way. Every day whenever I open my bank account, the amounts are getting filled. I have multiple sources of income which is bringing me money. Now I don't need to worry about earning money. Of course, I'm looking at multiplying it. So I can go on bucket list, kicking off my bucket list. So that is called freedom fund. So try to build up these funds. Then you can think about going for a facility or something like that. Then you are financially secured. Our problem, most of us, we don't have at least a little bit of saving. We are always trying to get everything from the financial institutions, maybe because of a poor financial habits or lack of financial literacy and things like that. So that is the least thing that you are supposed to do. Now let me quickly take you through one of the story that is the hereafter legacy. That is the hereafter legacy. With that I will be concluding, and we will be opening up for Q&A in that nature. So hereafter legacy is all about, we all know Islam is one of the beautiful lifestyle that we have got. While we are in this world, we can earn for the hereafter as well. There is zakah, which is obligatory charity, sadaqah, which is voluntary, waqf that we do. In Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Muslims are blessed to have lots of waqf properties that we have, and we are enjoying the benefits of our forefathers, whatever the sacrifices they have done. right? Similarly, that we have varasas which is getting distributed among the heirs. Likewise, we have beautiful benevolent loan that is known as Kardalasan. So the time does not permit us to go through all of these. You can build up your hereafter legacy through any of these means. Clear? All of these means or any of these means. I'm going to tell you one story and then we are coming to the end of the session for today. So we always, believe and wonder and we say, wow, these are top 10 billionaires in 2024. Clear? In the eyes of, in the eyes of, uh, in the eyes of hereafter legacy, when we look at this man, that is the founder of the largest Islamic bank in the world, that is called Al Raji Bank. His name is Sulaiman Al Raji. He was a farmer. He was a farmer. He earned his wealth. Most of the dates, what we get, mostly we get as a distribution, free distribution, comes from the Al Raji farm. Okay, so he has built so much wealth, and the Forbes magazine highlighted him he as one of the billionaire. After the announcement of, he is one of the self-made billionaire in Saudi Arabia. He announced, I want to become poor. I want to give away everything and under the name of Waqf. There are enough of your documentaries. I'm just sharing a link with you. Click and watch. When you click, when you get the PDF document to you, you will be able to watch that. So watch that how he has built up his wealth. And the moment the Forbes magazine announced that you are a billionaire, he announced saying that I don't want to be the millionaire. I don't want to be the billionaire. I am choosing to become the poor. Then one of the media person who has been interviewing him and asking, you have become so much sacrifice and become a billionaire, and now you want to become a poor? And he says, yes. He asked, why? Then he says, in the hereafter, in the hereafter, I will have long time to answer for all my wealth, which I don't want to do it. Again, I'm connecting with the hadith which I have been talking about. You will be asked about how did you earn money and how did you spend money. One of the good nice story, when we say nice story, of course it is all about, not the story, it is actually a legacy that he has left as a Muslim person, as a believer in the hereafter, as a person who want to be a philanthropic, as a person who wants to do something better and leave a powerful legacy in this world. A good life story that we can learn, that is from the billionaire Sulaiman Al Raji. With that, I would like to conclude with the 5 key takeaways. Number one, develop a purpose driven financial goal in your life. Number two, never depend on single source of income. Number three, before you get into the debt trap, ensure all your buckets are filled. Number four, build your hereafter legacy based on the zakah, sadaqah, waqf, warasat, and qard al-hasan that what we have. And the fifth one, if you are interested about developing your skills on personal financial management, these are some of the books that I have personally read and which has been beneficial for me. Of course, Think and Grow Rich, Psychology of Money, Rich Dad and Poor Dad is based on interest, but there are some principles that you can take. Of course, you can learn about Islamic finance. There are books that you can learn. There are courses that are available in Sri Lanka also, which you can go and enroll with. If you are interested about learning more, how you can based on Islamic principles, based on ethical principles, based on people-friendly nature, how you will be able to build your wealth, double your wealth, and leave a legacy. With that note, I would like to conclude. I will stop with this. If you all have anything, any questions, clarification that are required, please feel free to reach out to Ummat. And I will also request them to share the PDF so that you can go through the content and reach out as well. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure being with all of you. And please, as a reminder once again, please fill up your feedback form and then you can share it with Ummat as well. And thank you so much. Until we meet some part of the world, live with passion to leave a powerful legacy. Thank you so much, everyone. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.